Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Friday morning. Got a big show lineup, giving away a lot of seafood today, plus a good fish report and some other really interesting things I think you're going to enjoy. First, let's do our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. All the rain and all should be out of here by now, so we got a good weekend ahead of us. Today's high is going to be a 73, a low 58, and a water temperature right around 78 degrees. Looking really good there. Let's take a look at our river readings brought to us by Sand Hill Seafood and Restaurant up there right past Bozeman on Highway 77. Our price code of Bluntstown 3.2, sort of leveling off. And then taking a look at a Choctaw Caribbean. We're just on we got a reading on it right now, but you see how high. I mean, they're really predicting it's going to get high. It may get higher than that. We got a lot of rain around here yesterday. A lot of rain there up north of the Choctawhatchee. That whole drainage field comes right into there. That floodplain goes right in there, and it's going to be. They're predicting it's going to get way on up there. It's at a 5.9 now, but it's predicted to get on up there about 10 foot. It's going to double. So just be aware of that. It's going to be swift. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Looking at the tide, today's Friday, May the 5th. A little bit of a neap tide today. Not much going on. So we're going to have that. One thing we're going to have, though, is that strong wind again. Today, the National Weather Service is calling for the wind coming out of the west at 20 to 30. So be aware of that. Another windy day, folks. Guess what? But hopefully it's going to die down a little bit tomorrow. And tomorrow should be a lot better than today. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at our, let's do a drawing right now. Let's add some names. Look at here, we got Doug Rose from Alford. How about Kevin Rose from Lynn Haven? All right, how about Ed Rush Chipley and Inez Rose from Alford? So some more in here. So let's go ahead and draw. This is for the Sand Hill Seafood. This is 2 half bags of oysters. Got them stirred up really good. And we're going to pull out for the first half bag is going to be Ryan McLean. The second half bag is going to be, how about Nancy Barker from Westville? Nancy Barker, Westville, and Ryan McLean. That's our 2 winners for the half bags. Got a lot more stuff we're giving away. Now, we're going to, in talking about the red snapper, it stirred up a hornet's nest, folks. I'm telling you. A reporter went into the Panama City fishing page and asked for some comments on how everybody felt about the red snapper. Last count, there's 287 comments. There's some angry folks out there. I'm going to show you this little it's not a cartoon, this is a little sketch here, and this is right on, and it's going to be several minutes long, but listen to it carefully, okay? This was done a couple years ago, but boy, what vision they had. So we're going to start this. So here we go.
Excuse me, what do you think you are doing?
I'm going to catch a red snapper.
That's not going to happen. My name is Roy Crabtree with the National Marine Fisheries. It's against the law to catch a red snapper.
Why?
There are no red snapper to catch, and to rebuild the population, we have to limit red snapper fishing.
But the water is full of red snapper.
Trust me, there are no red snapper, and we have to rebuild the stock.
How do you do that?
First, we have to determine how many red snapper are supposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico. Then, we determine how many red snapper are actually in the Gulf of Mexico. And lastly, we determine how many you can catch while rebuilding the stock.
How many red snapper are supposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico?
We don't really know, but we pay a lot of money to northern universities to produce really complicated documents that make everyone believe we know.
Well then, how many red snapper are actually in the Gulf of Mexico?
We don't know that either. Our sampling method is flawed, and it takes 3.5 years to process the data.
So you are telling me the red snapper regulations for this year are based on data that is 3.5 years old?
That's correct.
Well, I heard that southern universities and state governments have good data that disagrees with your red snapper limits.
We consider them stupid and ignore the data.
So, if you don't know how many red snapper are supposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico, and don't know how many are there now, how do you determine how many red snapper we can catch.
We just set a very low limit and let the fishermen fight over how many fish that particular group gets to catch.
How does that work?
First, you decide whether you are a commercial fisherman, or a charter boat, or a recreational fisherman. Then you pick a group. There's the IFQ group, a catch share group, a sector separation group, a marine protected area group, or whatever is the latest trend group. After you join a group, you can battle the fishermen in the other groups for your right to catch a red snapper.
But I don't want to battle other fishermen for a red snapper. I just want to fish. If you make the rules about red snapper, why don't fishermen battle you instead of each other?
We hope they never figure that out. So far, we have been able to keep the focus of how badly we have mismanaged the fishery by encouraging them to fight with each other.
When will I be able to catch a red snapper?
Every year we will reduce the amount of red snapper you can catch. This will discourage more fishermen to stop fishing. Then, in the year 2020, we will implement our vision statement we published. There will be no more red snapper fishing after the year 2020, and by then, there won't be enough of you left to make a fuss about it.
What if we fishermen band together and expose your mismanagement?
We've been mismanaging the red snapper fishery since 1990, and, so far, that has never happened.
Don't you have a Gulf Council and meetings where the public is invited to comment on your mismanagement?
We are required by law to hold these meetings and listen to the advice of the council.
What advice did you receive from the public and the council?
I don't know. I've never listened. I only listen to the advice of the Pew Environmental Group and the Environmental Defense Fund. They don't want fishermen out there killing fish and eating them, not to mention blocking the view of the Gulf from the beach.
So, you just expect us to quit fishing, sell our boats and go away, quietly.
That's right. The more difficult we make it to catch a red snapper, the less of you we see every year.
Sooner or later the fishermen are going to realize what you are doing and organize a protest to expose all of your incompetency.
Have you heard what P.T. Barnum, the famous circus owner, said? You can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Well, he was wrong. So far, we have fooled all the fishermen all of the time. So put your fishing pole away and find something else to do with your spare time.
Okay. All right, that is so true. That was done in 2014, and what a vision that had, because that's why they're trying to get all of us fighting back and forth with each other, and yet that data is skewed like we talked about yesterday. We'll talk more about it next week. Let's go and get our drawing. This is for real-time fisheries, for some seafood over there, or a platter, whatever they got fresh and all, about $20 worth. All right, here we go. This is Joel King up there at Deer Point Lake, real time, right there in Callaway, right there on the Weewolf Highway. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at some pictures. First, an announcement. Travis Basford just sent this to me, and this is a big deal. You know, we've been running out of cobia, and this is something that we need, as fishermen and all, we need to let folks know. It's just not very many cobia out there, and we know that. So here, this FWC is putting together some workshops, and one's going to be in Tallahassee, then Pensacola, then Destin, and then right here in Panama City. Go ahead and put this on your calendar now, May 23rd, if you want to have some input on the cobia. That's going to be on a Tuesday night, May 23rd, about 2 weeks from this coming Tuesday night, 2 weeks. So go ahead and put it on the calendar. And Travis is going to be there, and they just want to get some feedback from everybody on what's going on. Okay, let's go through some of these pictures. I thought this was funny here. The doctor asked me to spend at least 1 hour per day on the treadmill. So there you go. That's for some of my friends who are getting too lazy to work out now. All right, I thought this was creative. If you got a lot of horns around there and you don't know what to do with them, I've never seen this done before, but it's a very creative and unique way to do it. Okay, and we already got word from President Trump. He said, keep all the red snapper you want. So it's official right there. So, but just double check on the regulations before you go. I got this in the on Facebook memories. Most of y'all, if you watch the show a while, you remember our intern, John Rush. He was a senior at Auburn and came down and did a whole semester of internship on Panhandle Outdoors. Special time with John. It was just really great to get to know him, just spend some, and he was like family. Before he left, I consider him part of our family. Well, listen, he's just sent me. He's up there. He's up. His wife graduated from University of Georgia. He graduated from Auburn, and they settled up there around Atlanta. So he just sent me an email. Ironically, I got that day before yesterday. I got this yesterday. He said, "Hey, Winston, I'm gonna sort of go through it fast. It's been far too long since we last saw each other. Hope all is well with you and your family. Just want to pass along some photos of a tournament I participated in this past weekend in Rock Hill, South Carolina. It was a regional tournament for the River Bassing Tournament Trail. My partner and I came in first place. See, we trained him well, didn't we? And it goes on down. It was an incredibly difficult day of fishing. Recent rains had all of the rivers completely flooded. We found success late in the day by throwing crankbaits on some rock structure. That's good right there. And also paddling into the flooded banks and dragging crankbaits through the grass. Attached, you'll find my biggest fish at 19.5 inches. Went on down. A note to all the viewers out there: if you enjoy kayak fishing, I would highly suggest looking into finding some rivers to float down and hunt for bass. It is an absolute blast. And if you're interested in competing, join River Bassing. There's still plenty of time to fish the tournaments. Anyways, I sure do miss you and Gail. I will never forget your amazing hospitality and care for me while I was down there. Speaking of Gail, tell her I want to order one of those new hats you have been showing off on the show. So, sincerely, John, and all. So anyway, here's a couple of pictures. Here's what he did. Check this out. Look at these fish he caught. Kayak fishing, bass fishing out of the kayak. There's it right there measuring it. All right. And look at here, the hardware. He won. That's his fishing buddy. Ice chest he won. Look at those trophies down there. John's looking good. Doing real good. John just has this deep love for fishing like so many of you out there do, and I'm so glad to see him still doing it. It's really neat. Speaking of love for fishing, one of our viewers, William Jones, up there in Camp Head, caught 30 croakers today. So it looks like a fish fry. Croakers are very good to eat. Got them clean good, and that's going to be a nice fish fry from fresh, local caught fish. So that catches up on the pictures. I do want to mention now, this weekend, of course, it's a kids fishing tournament. We've talked about it all week. If you get a chance to go over there and volunteer and help. Also, here's Michael Harris with Seasons of Hope. Michael's going to go over there and get some of his folks to go over there and help. Marcus Parrish volunteering his time. There'll be a lot of kids catching a lot of fish. They got them stocked up. It's going to be some easy fishing now, okay? And some of you older people can go out there and pretend you're helping them out. See, you might catch one too. So some of y'all may want to do that. All right, now, I also want to mention Tuesday night, of course, the tournament. I don't know about the tournament trail going on at Deer Point. I got to catch up on it, but I know there's some bass tournaments going on. But this Tuesday night will be the over the sea deck. People ask where it's at. It's going to be on Highway 390, just north of the airport. It's going to be at 5:30, and you know the details on it. Mark and Michael Coward will be giving a really good clinic on how to catch a redfish. A lot of y'all may want to get in red fishing and don't know a lot about it. Excellent time, a free clinic. And there's going to be, if you want an estimate on how to do sea deck on your boat, you can get it. Also, the whole setup, the whole warehouse there, going to have some refreshments and all. It's a good time, good fellowship. I'm looking forward to it, and I know we're going to have a good time. So I will make sure that get a chance to talk to you, and I'll try to get some decals and bring some decals up. I've given out everything I've had, our caps and everything. I just don't have any left, so we're going to try to get caught up on that stuff and order some more and get some more shirts in and some more decals. And I appreciate y'all wanting those, but I've run out really. So we're going to. All right, let's take a look. We're going to do our drawing now for Tarpon Dock Seafood. This will be Tarpon Dock Seafood, a $20 gift certificate. Y'all support our sponsors. These are good folks that have been hard-working folks who are making a good, hard living. This is going to be from Parker, John Taylor. Well, I might get you some shrimp or something like that. And this is going to be for the red snapper. You wonder why we spend so much time. The red snapper is a money fish. Everybody wants a red snapper. I can tell you before, I personally would rather eat a grouper. If I had a choice between a snapper or a grouper, I'm going to eat that grouper. But the red snapper is just. One thing so attractive about it, when you're pulling them out of the water and that red glistening in the sun, it's just a special feeling. It really is. And so that's why all the old timers called them. That's why all the folks started coming out from Birmingham and Alabama and Atlanta to catch these red snappers, because they're beautiful fish when they're coming out of the water. And like I said, that's the only fish I put on the cover of my book, because that was and is the money fish. And that's why all this big, if they're out there talking about speckled trout or something, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but they're talking about the red snapper now. So anyway, here's a winner of that red snapper this week. It's going to be Cindy Barlow. Cindy Barlow. So we've got some good winners right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 winners. So what we're going to do is get set up for our famous Friday fishing report. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back and welcome to our famous Friday fishing forecast. Let's jump right in there. Let's talk about freshwater first. We'll talk about May. We're talking about a full moon in May, which is coming next Wednesday. This weekend, you have got to get out and do some freshwater fishing. I'm telling you, it could be a lake, it could be a pond, it could be a river, it could be a creek. And it's going to be good because seriously, the panfish, the brim, shellcracker, and all, what they're doing now, they're going through a stage and process. They got a lot of roe on them and all, and they're spawning, and there are going to be a lot of them out there. Now, just catch what you want to eat, and maybe freeze 1 or 2. You don't want to freeze enough to say, I'm going to eat this next year. Just freeze enough for the next month or 2. But you're going to catch a lot of fish if you want to get out there and do it. Now, it's going to be a little high over there toward the creeks and all, but it's going to be good. Okay, now let's go to freshwater. Let's talk about offshore first. What I wrote, I didn't have much on offshore. There's not much going on. I saw a wahoo that was caught pretty far out there the other day, but not a whole lot of stuff going on. A few amberjack have been caught, but not enough to write home about. Okay, now let's go down toward Carabel fishing. The best thing to do in Carabel is get behind Dog Island. Now you're going to have, the Carabel River is not all that big, so you're not going to have that much. You're going to have a lot of mud and all coming out of Tate's Hell, but it's not going to it's sort of swept out pretty good. So back behind Dog Island, back in here, there's going to be some good red fishing, some excellent red fishing, I promise you. Now this mouth right here, it's going to be muddy coming out because it will have some mud and all in it. But you got a good flow in here, and those redfish are going to be feeding real good right there. Same can be said on the backside of St. George Island. Now, again, I told you before about what great pompano fishing this is, and the wind's going to be coming, folks. If it's coming 20 to 25, this is going to be churned up and muddy, and it's really going to be wasting your time going out trying to do some surf fishing in that. So you want to get, if coming out of the south this way, you want to fish this side here, so you can do some wade fishing through here. All through here is some excellent wade fishing. You can wade out there. Watch out for the oyster shells, but it's still good wade fishing. Now, these places I've been to before, so I know what's going on as far as catching some fish off these points right in here. Also, you can park here and do some wade fishing over here. And, of course, moving on down St. George. But let's go ahead and mention, while we're at it, the northern end of Apalachicola Bay. Red fishing is going to be really good up in this area, up in here. Now, the river's not high yet. It's been down, you got to stop and think, all week long it's been down around 3 to 4 foot. So this area in here, these creeks and these feeder creeks and all, they're going to have a lot of fish in them. Okay, and it's going to be some good fishing. The water's going to be as clear as it's going to be in a while. The next week, you won't be able to say that with it rising like it, okay? But it's going to be good fishing in that area. Back behind, and we mentioned this before, it's going to be excellent fishing. The oyster bars here, back behind St. Vincent Island. The pass itself is going to be pretty muddy. I wouldn't really count a lot on catching some fish there. It's going to be pretty muddy right in there, coming out with that wind stirring it up, not from the rain, but from the wind. The Cape itself, again, that south wind is going to be coming straight up here, okay? So surf fishing not going to be good. Trout fishing up in around Black's Island, up in here, trout fishing should be good. You got that south wind coming. If you can put in here, and now if you run from the city of St. Joe, you're going to hit some tough. If you got a small boat, it's going to be tough, pretty rough. But you sort of hug the shoreline and go out that way. That's sort of what I do. And then a lot of times just drift fish. If you don't fish this area a little bit, remember the state record pompano is caught right here. Drift fish this, and you go all the way, when you're drift fishing, excellent fishing all the way through here. Excellent fishing. All right, let's go on to Mexico Beach. Mexico Beach is going to be pretty rough fishing too. Again, you want to get back up in Intercoastal. If you can get up in the Intercoastal, go up the canal, fish the Intercoastal, come out of White City. That's going to be good fishing that way. Moving on into Bay County, Crooked Island Sound should be excellent this weekend. You'll be protected up in here. Surf fishing, again, not good in the area, but fishing all through here is going to be good, okay? And coming on to East Bay should be really good. Trout fishing in East Bay this weekend, trout fishing should be really good. Coming out of Sandy Creek, And again, a south wind. If you get on the Tyndall side, you're going to be better off if you have a smaller boat. But I've got some good reports all week on trout fishing. Okay, let's move on into St. Andrew Bay, the main system. Okay, if you want to, not the Spanish mackerel, there's still a little bit out here, but you don't see near as many boats out here now. Beach stripe is going to be good fishing. You're going to have that south wind coming this way, so it's going to be rough out in here. But along this shoreline here is going to be good. Getting on up here into North Bay, it's going to be really rough on the shorelines in here. So you want to do your fishing up around the college here or back in here if you're trout fishing or red fishing in a small boat. Now you're going to be real bumpy coming out of two creeks here. Okay, and now going into West Bay, this is going to be some good fishing here, right in this area, right in here. A few drum are still being caught. Okay, believe it or not, along the bridges and going along the intercoastal into Choctawhatchee Bay. Now, I believe this is broken out now, so it's sort of coming in and out. I haven't heard many reports from Phillips Inlet, but I know some of y'all fish it pretty regular. Okay, intercoastal should be pretty decent, but these freshwater, Grayton Beach and all, it's going to be pretty rough in the area. I did say this on surf fishing. I mentioned that near shore. If you do get out near shore, if it's not too rough, the King's been pretty strong. King fishing been pretty good. It's going to be rough this weekend, looks like. And it's going to settle down Saturday afternoon, comparatively speaking. Okay, the redfish. If you're doing the redfishing, I wrote this down last night. The reports I've got. If you're doing the redfishing, you really want to get out early because they're sight fishing for them and they're tailing early. Okay, so look for that tail, and sight fishing has become one of the most popular ways to fish in the Florida Panhandle. Starting about 10 or 15 years ago, it's very popular sight fishing. But Hawk Masolini was doing it back in the 1920s, 1930s, because that's how I got the nickname Hawk, because he could see those birds feeding, he could see those tails and all. So sight fishing is real popular now. It's a lot of fun to see them and then cast in front of them. It's sort of like hunting and fishing. And we've got to get out of here. We've had a great week, got another great week coming up there. I always want to tell you, I really do appreciate the viewership and you supporting our sponsors. You have a great weekend, have a good day at work today. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.